Welcome to the Sadowsky YouTube channel. I'm Nico from Sadowsky, and I have the pleasure to have AndyIrvine next to me. Andy, it's so great to see you again. It's been a while.
Yeah.
For the people out there who don't know, Andy and myself, we know each other already since a really, really long time. He knows me already since I'm a boy. It's been maybe 10, 12 years. So it's great to see you back after all that time.
Thanks. It's great to be here. It's really great to be here.
It's cool that we are able to do some things again, and that you are such a great brand ambassador also for Sadowsky. We appreciate your support.
I'm very happy to. Very happy to. I've had a really productive week so far making demo videos with the all-new 2023 Sadowsky MetroExpress line. I've done at least 6 or 7 actual demos with the instruments, and then I've done an overview video detailing all of the updates to the new SMX. And then I've also done some kind of fun videos talking about some different techniques and some different ways that I kind of get the best sound that I can out of the Sadowsky basses and why they work for me and some of the settings that I like to use. So we've been able to, the week's only half over, and we've already been able to do a lot in terms of making some great videos. So I just encourage people to check them out as they come out, as they're released onto the YouTube channel. And I hope that everybody enjoys them.
How did you get started actually, with the MetroExpress basses?
I knew, in the years when I was here before, you and your dad, Hans-Peter, were just making a relationship just as friends with Roger. And it was the beginning stages of what became what's happening now. And I was here for that time. So when you started making the first Sadowsky basses and the first MetroExpress basses, I was curious to see how it was all going. You know, I was off doing my own thing and everything like that. And I got a little ping online or something where it was, there's a music dealer shop down in Denver that had was advertising a Sadowsky MetroExpress bass that was that they were selling, and it was right down in Denver, which is not very far from me, maybe an hour and a half drive, and they were advertising it at what I thought was a really good price, and I said, I got to go down there and check it out because I was just curious to see how you were doing with it and everything. And I ended up going down there and at the shop, and I was playing it, and I was like, wow, this thing is really good, and the price was good. And I said to myself, if I don't buy it, I'm going to drive home and I'm going to wish that I had bought it. So I plopped down my credit card and I bought it, and I took it home and just started messing around with it and playing around with it and making adjustments to it and kind of doing some things to it to make it
personalize it to your style.
Yeah, personalize it to me, and that's what started it. And then they actually had 3 of them there at that shop, and one over the next month, one by one, I drove down and bought another one, and then I drove down and bought another one. So I had 3 of them, and then I was having fun just and it was good for me because I really enjoy the process of putting in different pickups and working with the fret ends and learning to file them and round them and things like that. So it was just a really good experience for me to fix them up to how I like them.
So a lot of fun. It's like working on a car or whatever. Like changing it and customizing it.
Yeah, exactly. So I just saw it as the bones were good, the main structure was there. And then I just went and did some fine tuning to it to put in the pickups that I like and so on.
Yeah, of course. There are a lot of possibilities. You can also with the VTC you can add.
Right.
As they don't come with the VTC built in, you can buy the VTC after sales kit or the whole preamp to get the VTC sound from the MetroLines and the master built instruments.
That was what ended up happening actually, because I'm friends with Roger and we talk on Facebook and things like that, and I started making some demos with the basses and everything like that, and then I learned of the all-inclusive drop-in VTC where it's on the plate and everything's all put together, and all you have to do is hook up a couple wires. And I think I emailed or I sent a message to Roger and I said, hey, I'd really like to have some of these, and pretty soon I had a few of those, so that then I was able to put those in.
That's the easiest way, actually. I mean, to be honest, to buy only the VTC pot to change it by yourself, if you don't have a lot of experience in soldering and electronic wiring, it can be kind of hard to change it. But yeah, we made also a video about it for people who like to do it themselves, actually.
I watched that video. That was really helpful, because I'm one of those people that I'm pretty good with some things, but the delicate soldering and I'm a little bit messy and not so precise and everything like that. So it made it so easy, because all you do is just put it in and you're just hooking up a couple wires to the blend control, hooking up your ground wires and putting in the jack, and it's really only taking like maybe 15 minutes total.
Yeah, it's really easy. Not much soldering at all involved. I think it's just a couple solder connections. Everything else should be pre-wired already.
Yeah, and it's great. And it gives you the benefit of the passive tone control, which gives you like some more mellow, old school type of tones.
So I think you ended up having 9 MetroExpress bases now.
I did.
Right? I think you told me the other night.
Yeah, I have some. Well, what happened was, this is all kind of evolving, and it's kind of how I'm come to be here now. But in the process, there were some prototypes of what has the new Sadowsky MetroExpress, and they were the first batch that they didn't have all of the updates, but they had a good portion of the updates. Like, they didn't have the roasted maple neck as a plain white maple neck, but they did have the IFT and the rounded fret ends and
the new string retainer.
The new string retainer.
Already the real Sadowsky logo.
The real
like one of the
Sadowsky
biggest
logo.
points or upgrades for the new Sadowsky MetroExpress range.
Yes, they started becoming available, and I ended up getting 3 of those.
So what's in your opinions the biggest upgrades beside the logo, what we just mentioned? Like, if you compare, because you had 9 or I think 7 or whatever from the older Sadowsky ones, and you got now a couple of the prototypes.
Yeah.
So you could test them out firsthand before everybody else already, because the new MetroExpress bases, they hit the market in the US, but in Europe they didn't hit the market right now. I think the first markets like France and Italy, they will start pretty soon. In Germany, end of the year, start of the new year. So what's in your opinion the biggest plus points?
Sure. The biggest plus point for me instantly is the neck, is the way that the IFT and the rounded ball end frets, the way that it changes. Because when you pick up an instrument, the first thing that you feel is, how does the neck feel in the palm of your hand? Yeah. It's the very first thing. It's the most immediate connection to, in some ways, whether you're going to like it or whether you're not going to like it. It's going to be decided in the first 3 seconds of running your hand up and down the neck. Yeah. And that was huge. And also, there's like an overall quality of the way that the frets are actually like polished, and the smoothness and the way that they bend they bend in a very creamy way. So they're very expressive when you're playing it. So for me, the biggest improvement is the neck itself. And then we talked about the string retainer, and it's just a very, very small thing. It doesn't look like much, but it really, really makes a big difference in terms of when you're setting it up and when you're playing chords, because sometimes when you're playing 2 notes at once, you get like wolf tones and sympathetic vibrations and things like that, or where the strings are kind of rattling behind your hand, and that thing just brings it down and it gets rid of all that stuff. So it's a very, very special and big improvement.
You have any preference for the fretboard? We offer it in Morado and in the maple fretboard. Do you have any preference on that, or you're like, it doesn't change much for you?
I tend to prefer maple, right? Yeah. And I was thinking about this. Of all of them, the one that I think is my favorite of them all, and I have a whole bunch now, is the first one that I ever got. And that one has a Morado. Yeah, it's a 4-string vintage JJ21, and it has a Morado. I have a 5-string Morado as well, and that one too. It's kind of like it wasn't my favorite at first, but it's kind of become. I'm starting to like it more and more over time. The more I play it, all instruments, the more you play them, the more they come to life. Yeah. So like maybe at first it was a little bit kind of new, like with a candy coating on it, look kind of hard. But now that I'm playing it a bunch, it's starting to soften up and open up and get a great sound. So, I typically like maple better.
Yeah, it might be a little bit harder than the maple. I mean, the Murado is pretty similar to a rosewood. But as you say, it's small nuances in difference. But every player will have his own opinion about it. And I think the best is to try it out in the store, compare both, and then choose what works best for you.
I agree. Sure. I agree.
So yeah, yesterday I took you for a tour through the facility. I mean, you know it from 10, 15 years ago. And I think a lot of things changed.
Yeah, it's great to see the evolution, you know. There's such an efficiency to the way things have always been done here, and they continue to evolve in that direction, meaning there's no waste of energy, there's no waste of materials, there's no waste of even footsteps of the worker. Like, you're always kind of finding ways to have no waste and to be efficient, like with the robotic assisted warehousing, and even something as simple as, instead of having the worker have to bend over and pick something up, now the table comes up so that the job comes to the worker without having to bend over 100 times a day, or not having to walk across the warehouse to get something. It's all right there. Like the packing materials or whatever, they're fed through a system that's coming up so that they don't have to go and get the thing. The things like in the production, like the sawdust and the residue from making the instruments and the sawdust, it's all saved. And then the heat that's generated from that is pulled out and used to heat the building. And it's just everything's so efficient, and it just continuously evolves in that efficient way. And that is truly amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it's really important to stay alive as a company, to see how you can use the resources best you can, especially like in those hard times we have at the moment with the inflation and the rising energy costs. You know, if we wouldn't use all the wood cut-offs, or if we wouldn't have all the solar power ship, or our energy, or our power plant to generate the electricity, I'm not sure if we would be able to continue to work in the way we work right now, because the increasing cost would just eat all the money, and we might have to close, you know. Like this, we have our sawdust to heat, we have the wood cut-offs to heat the company in the winter time. Our gas generator is producing most of the electricity, but it's also not so easy anymore because of the rising gas costs. So now you need to look what can you do to save on energy, because in Germany it's really affecting everybody big time. So it's important to go into this direction and to be more independent. Also, solar power is a big thing. We need to look into it to produce most of our electricity by our own and all that kind of thing. So it's not only for us, you know, it's for the workers. We're also really interested to see how we can make it more efficient for them, to make a better workplace, because you need to do it, you know. You need to make attractive working conditions to also attract younger people to work in your company. It's difficult in Germany. People don't want to work with their hands anymore, you know. You need to create a modern and developed working environment to make it attractive for them. Yeah. So it's big changes happening in the last years, and big changes are coming in the next years. We are doing massive reworks in our productions, new machinery. We expanded the production to be able to move machines around. So the next time you come, I think you won't recognize the production anymore, because so much will change and move.
Well, you know what really makes me happy is that you being, you know, Hans Peter's son, and you having a passion for the company. Yeah. It's not so common anymore. Like it was always kind of like the son would take over, and the family would carry on the tradition. And that's not as common anymore. And, you know, in the world, you know, that the next generations are coming up and carrying in the footsteps of their parents.
Yeah,
you know,
that's true. You don't see a lot of companies with the daughter or with the son who is also interested in a company. I mean, a lot of times company owners, they have children, but they are not interested in the business. And it's tough for those companies. I mean, what are the choices? I
made that joke to you yesterday, and I think it was pretty good, is that you need to start having kids, because when your kids are my age, I'm 54, there's still going to be mountains of this amazing wood out here. So we need to start getting ready for the next generation, even though you're only in your 20s.
No, it would be pity to give it all away. I agree. Irvine, it was so great to talk to you.
Oh, it's my pleasure. You know, it's really special. I've always felt a deep connection to the Wilfer family. And, you know, it's great to have, you know, kind of transformed myself to the place where I can be beneficial here again, and I can bring something to the table that's useful and that's positive and it's beneficial. So I'm deeply honored that I'd be invited back. So thank you for having me back.
Thanks. I'm sure we will continue the chats the next days and in the evening, as we still have a couple of days left with you.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Yeah.
And I hope everybody enjoyed the video. I welcome everybody to follow us on Facebook, Instagram. We also have a dedicated Sadowsky bass owners group where you can share your experience with your basses or ask questions or post pictures or whatever. And we see us the next time.